Hello, welcome to my channel, Doomer Guy Reviews. I'm your host, that guy I was just talking about, and today we're going to be discussing one of the most talked about shows right now, which is, you guessed it, Fallout. Now streaming on Amazon Prime. Now, for a review like this, I need to break it down into two different sections. One is its faithfulness to the video game series. Two is the overall story, where I judge it based on its own merits. Some questions I'll probably be tackling are, does it get it right? What are some things they got wrong? And what are some things they could have improved on, and what we're hoping for probably in the next season? Of course, if you just want to go ahead and skip ahead to the score I give this, well then I'm sure I'll have a timestamp somewhere. Anyway, on to the review. Our main story takes place after the bombs fall inside Vault 33, where an arranged marriage has been set up between the protagonist of the story, Lucy McLean, who is also the Overseer's daughter. The guy she was meant to marry was supposed to be someone from the neighboring Vault 32, but it turns out this guy is from the surface and a raider. Oh shit. After this guy dumps his load and blows his cover, Lucy and him get into a bit of a tussle. And by a tussle, I mean she shaves half his face off with a broken bottle. Fucking savage. Lucy then runs around with a dart gun, tranquilizing the raiders who are fucking shit up. She catches up with her dad, who has been given a choice to either save her or a handful of people. Now, we all know how important choices are in these games, so it's important to pick the right one. Which his choice led to him being tranquilized, dragged out of the vault, and held as hostage. Damn! He should have tried loading the quick save, and maybe he would have had better luck with the other option. Anyway, this is where Lucy's adventure truly begins, as she sets out against the Vault's permission to find her father, rescue him, and bring him back to the Vault. I'm sure many of you are already aware that this is a reference to the Fallout 3 storyline, which is exactly how I wanted this to play out, so well done there. While wandering the wasteland, Lucy encounters all the stuff you'd expect to find out there, like defective robots, junkies, mutated wildlife, and ghouls. I mean, this is all stuff you can find in Florida as well, but it's just not the same. One person she meets on a couple of occasions is an escaped scientist who's on the run from just about, well, everyone, because of an artifact he stole that holds the key to unlimited power. Basically, it's through the scientist who acts as a conduit for the main story's protagonistic crew to come together under a common goal of retrieving the artifact. Long story short, after the scientist has his leg blown off by a ghoul, one person who will go into detail later on, the scientist eventually succumbs to his injuries, but his final request to Lucy is that she cut off his head so that way he can live his lifelong dream of being Mimir like in God of War. And with everyone looking for this head, Lucy meets all kinds of interesting people, like Maximus, who is a brother from the Brotherhood of Steel. Now, Maximus only has one goal in life, and it's to become a knight in the Brotherhood of Steel. And he's had this dream since he was a kid. And we know this because we've seen the same damn memory sequence like 20 times with nothing new to add to it. Maximus gets his chance to become a knight when a close friend of his receives a promotion to become a squire. But secretly, his friend doesn't want the promotion and would rather cut corners by sticking a razor in his own boot so he wouldn't have to go out into the field. Basically, his friend's a pussy. But a smart pussy. Instead, the promotion gets passed over to Maximus. However, Maximus quickly finds out that being a squire in the Brotherhood of Steel sucks fucking balls. Not that the guy had it much better before, mind you. He was getting kicked around by everyone, and at least now he's only taking shit from one guy. Anyway, not even halfway through their first assignment together, Maximus has pretty much reached his breaking point with this guy after taking non-stop shit from him since the beginning. But Maximus has the benefit, nay, the pleasure, of watching this guy experience a traditional gamer moment of him meeting a Yao Guai for the first time. Too injured to move, but not too injured to bitch and moan about it.
This fucking place! There's always something to ruin your fucking day! This wasteland fucking sucks!
Titus then starts to berate Maximus and tell him that he'll be executed for his poor performance as a squire, when he obviously did nothing wrong. Now after this, Maximus either kills him or watches him die. He claims to have watched him die, but to me it seems like it would have been far more satisfying and less time-consuming to just kill the guy, but to each his own. Either way, Titus dies off screen, which is pretty disappointing considering how much of a dick the guy was. Maximus then assumes his identity in order to keep the power armor he's waited so long for. He then keeps going along with this because once he is caught, he feels like he'll be executed otherwise. I mean, the Elder in charge doesn't seem to mind once they do find out. He even tells Maximus that he's learned that power isn't earned, it's taken. Well, the Elder allows him to keep his rank as knight so long as he can deliver the artifact as promised. Maximus does just that. In the series finale, where he and other Brotherhood of Steel members raid an NCR compound... Wait, the NCR's in this show? Fuck yeah! You gotta love that New Vegas look. I digress. After retrieving the artifact, Maximus officially earns the rank of knight, but he reluctantly accepts because he pretty much figures out that the Brotherhood of Steel are a bunch of assholes, which I don't know why it took him so long to come to that conclusion. The last character I'll talk about is the ghoul, the one I mentioned earlier. Well, it turns out he's a former actor before the bombs fell who was transformed by the radiation. He's a generic badass type of character who's most likely an homage to Clint Eastwood's roles as a gunslinger. I'm not going to spend too much time on this guy, I'm just going to quickly go over his backstory. The ghoul is a side protagonist who runs into Lucy McLean during his hunt for the scientist. We later find out that there's some bad history between him and the McLean bloodline, where it turns out the father is the villain who helped drop the bombs and destroy the whole world and later used them again to wipe out a town off the face of the earth because he felt it was tearing his wife away from him. I mean, can you blame him? If a woman's not at home where she should be, then you might as well blow some shit up. I think that's how the old motto goes. But I do think all that radiation from the bombs he dropped made his wife gay or something. And that's pretty much the end of the Fallout series. Now that we got that out of the way, let's discuss some of the pros and cons. First are the aesthetics. The set pieces and special effects to bring the entire Fallout environment to life is simply remarkable. I also feel they really capture a lot of the game's core aspects, whether it's hacking or healing, or the choices that are made that impact a character and their future. Next are the characters. Not so much the people that we follow though, but it's people like the pawn shop lady in the second episode, or the drugged out people harvesting organs for profit, or the witch doctor promising false cures. These types of characters play a very small part, but at the same time make up a great deal of believability that this takes place in the Fallout universe. Now for the cons, as this mostly pertains to the story, which is a bit mediocre. I mean, there are some inconsistencies that don't make any sense whatsoever. How did Lucy know what raiders are when she's never been to the surface and is missing about 200 years of human history? And why would someone who actually cared about Lucy's mother want to put her own daughter in so much danger? Not to mention, there's one whole episode dedicated to a psych out. Lucy and Maximus stumble on this weird cult where it seems like they're about to be sacrificed or something horrendous is about to happen, when it just kind of turns out that they're all kind of victims of a scientific experiment and their only crime is being extremely nice and super helpful. So don't you feel like the asshole for jumping to conclusions. The last parts I have to talk about are a bit nitpicky and aren't any kind of serious strikes against the show, but are mainly stuff I'd like to see improved on in the next season. One thing there should have been more of is mutated wildlife. At one point we just see a regular ass deer, when this would have been a good chance to introduce a rad stag. I just think there should have been more than just gulpers and rad roaches. I also feel there should be more robots as well. I was super bummed that we didn't see at least one Protectron. There are definitely some things that need to be improved on, but for a first season, it's not bad. And really, couldn't look any better. I'm giving the video game representation score an 8 out of 10. Story-wise, there's still more they need to make up for. And you know what? There's still a chance I could turn this good show into something great. Nonetheless, it's still a fun adaptation that'll make most fans of the franchise satisfied. I'm giving the overall show and story a 7 out of 10. Well, that's all I got for this review. And this was my first review in this fashion, so if you liked it, be sure to let me know by hitting that like and subscribe button. And if you hated it, Well, then be sure to let me know why you hated it and how I can kill myself in the comment section below. Bye!